Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and it is STD Live. It is flared up again, and I am itching to tell you about it. What is up, everybody? How's it going in the chat? The Star Trek After Show. I am announcing myself as the official Star Trek After Show since they have not brought back After Trek. There will be no actors. There will be very little praise, I'm sorry to say. Last episode was as close as we may get to me as a coherent, full episode that I almost enjoyed all of. And yes, enjoyed, enjoyment. We're talking, there's a major grading curve here, with Star Trek Discovery. This episode, mixed bag. We will start out with the good. Robot Girl, who I've been calling Robot Girl for the last season and a half. I thought her name was Miriam. First, it's Ariam. Had a full episode. They actually did the characterization for her that they should have done season one. It was actually a good background. We find out that she's not full on android, that she was a human who crashed in a shuttle crash with her new husband, and she's tech, so she has to download, she has to clear her memory drive. So they have scenes with her like taking her memories out and stuff. I thought that was actually pretty good. But I might as well tell you that there's going to be spoilers for this, probably a little late. I'm not going to go over the whole plot, but they killed her. So there you go. She was being infiltrated by Brainiac, which that's what I'm just going to call it from now. So last episode, we had that temporal anomaly quantum tachyon thing open up while Pike and Tyler were having a little pissing match in the shuttle. And then Brainiac came through and attacked them. And in doing that, the technology was able to get into Ariam, and we see that she has been messing with the ship. Of course, the Discovery, they are all fugitives now because this show can't have anybody going by any kind of Starfleet rules for more than 2 episodes. There's got to be a mutiny. That Michael is now a mutineer twice. Now the entire Discovery is Admiral Cornhole, Admiral Bad Decision. That's what I like to make. She's a fugitive. Pike's a fugitive. Everybody's a fugitive. And Spock, we have Spock. The vandalization, TM from Dave Cullen, of Mr. Spock continues, unfortunately. Ethan Peck playing Spock isn't half bad when he's given like halfway decent lines to write, but the beard and the moppy, the Paul McCartney look, while I like it a lot on Paul McCartney, I don't really like it on Mr. Spock, especially when he's on the ship and he has time to shave and all that, but I guess he doesn't want to. And any interaction between him and Michael Burnham reminds me that they have made them related in the show, and I find it annoying as hell, especially when they're fighting. There's the core problem with this show is the biggest difference it has with the Orville. While both shows have plot holes, you can hide plot holes with good characterization and actually genuinely liking characters. You can kind of forgive stuff. That's how we get through. That's how we get through Avengers Infinity War, which has tons of plot holes, but it's still an enjoyable film because we like all the characters. I don't like any characters on this show. I'm kind of liking Pike. I liked Ariam. She was really well done in this episode. She had a character arc, that kind of moved, and unfortunately it ended. Tilly gets more annoying as the season goes on. So real quick, Discovery has to take off because they are running because they're fugitives. They meet Admiral Cornhole in the shuttle, and they go to Section 31 because they need to go to Section 31. They get there. It's surrounded by mines. And this is very much a bad robot show. I don't care what anybody says. I have watched a lot of bad robot shows. I've watched Fringe. I've watched Alias. I've watched Lost. This is very much Alias, where it gives you a little bit of plot, and then it throws in like she, Sydney has to go through a maze or something to get her Rambaldi device. And that's what's going on here. We got a bunch of mystery boxing. They get to section 31's base. It's an old prison base, and it's surrounded by mines. And Pike is constantly cut down by Admiral Cornhole in this. There's a scene in the beginning where Pike's all, I don't know what you have in mind. And she goes, you have no idea what's in my mind. Hashtag SFIC, SFIC, strong female in charge. We're going to be pointing that out every time. We had 5 hashtag SFIC moments in this show, SFIC moments, where Cornhole basically emasculates Pike. And it doesn't end there, because the hologram of a Vulcan, who is I forgot her name, who's the head of Section 31, she does it to him too, although it's a hologram, so does it really count? By the way, we see what why they're going to take away the holograms from this. They're retconning it out, and it turns out, so when they raid the Section 31, of course, the raiding party is Michael Burnham and Arium. Now, Arium, I get. She's a robot. She's super strong. If you want to raid Section 31, you would want to send more than 3 people, and maybe it's part of your security detail, but we can't have that. So we send 3 women. Okay, great. Non gets taken out pretty quickly. Michael Burnham fights Arium. Arium kicks her ass pretty good. I was rooting for Arium all the whole way, even in the end. So Arium gets taken over by the Brainiac. We don't know what the hell's going on. She downloads the sphere, the Deus Ex sphere that has all the information. Somehow that sphere, while it's flying around space, got all the artificial intelligence information, or 100,000 years worth of artificial intelligence information. And Arium was able to find that out, download it in her, even though they just told us that she can't hold a lot of memory. So she downloads all her personal memories. They're all gone now. And she puts in all of the artificial intelligence memory from that giant sphere, which was like Ego, the Living Planet. And she had to get on Section 31 ship to download it, to send it. We don't know where. She has a fight with Michael Burnham. And then Tilly is able to get through to her by telling her that she was her friend. So we used some tears, science, and friendship, and it got through to Arium, and she was able to be, reconnect with herself, even though she downloaded all of her memories, maybe not all of them. I don't really care. I don't care. And and she was able to get connected to Tilly enough to tell Michael that I'm going to kill you. I need to download all this information, and you need to find Project Daedalus, or whatever the hell the episode name was. And was the episode, basically. It's a lot of people looking at view screens, watching Michael Burnham kick some ass. Of course, when they were flying through all the mines, it was Michael Burnham who figured out it was a game. And she figured it out by everybody's like trying to figure out, like, how are we going to stop all these mines? And Michael Burnham just goes, oh yeah, it's a game. And it fixes the problem. Captain Pike starts doing maneuvers with the ship. And once, I guess, he runs out of maneuvers, he goes around the horn. Okay. Like, so they're getting attacked by all these mines with like razors on them that are cutting the hole. And he starts asking for maneuver suggestions from his crew. So, like, in the middle of the battle, he's all, Admiral Cornwall, shout one out. And she's like, Omega 1. You, okay, Oshu, or whatever your name is. Go, okay. And I'm like, huh? Okay, whatever. It's Star Trek Discovery. Jonathan Frakes directed this episode. I will say there's a difference in the aesthetic in the show. They're not doing the whooshy camera thing, the Dutch angles all the time. That's kind of toned down quite a bit. So there's a definite change in the show. It's a definite improvement. It's still really poorly written. There's a scene where Spock is talking to Stamets and they're talking about him and Michael Burnham had an argument over chess. And basically the argument was somewhat you saw in the trailer. It's Spock saying, Michael Burnham, you're so awesome that you sometimes think you're too awesome, and you try to be too awesome sometimes, and you just need to be kinder to yourself because you're just awesome the way you are. And they're actually fighting about this, and I don't understand what it is. Spock is either on the verge of tears or yelling during the whole thing, and he says he likes being angry and he feels free. And the victimization of Spock, by the way, we find out that the logic extremists who wanted to hurt Spock's family wasn't over Michael Burnham. It was for Spock being a half-breed. It turns out that the admiral of Section 31, the Vulcan, is a logic extremist, but they let her lead Section 31 for some reason. So it's the logic extremists, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Seriously. So Spock is victimized because on Vulcan, he's considered the half-breed, and fine, whatever. But he's very emotional, and he's bearded. And so at the very end of the episode, I just wanted to get to this part. Ariam is downloading the stuff, and right before she sends herself out the airlock and kills herself, she turns to Michael, and she's all, I'm paraphrasing here, it's all because of you, Michael. And I just go, yeah, no shit. It's all because of Michael. Michael's the Red Angel. It's all because of her. Now I'm sensing that Trek Yards brought this up, and rightly so. Star Trek Discovery is in a different timeline, and they basically have said this. If you watch the last episode, they Pike and Burnham have a conversation about Spock and seeing the future, and they mention whose future did he see? And which timeline? This is the kind of language they're using. So Michael Burnham was supposed to die, and the Red Angel came in and saved her. So here's my guess. So in Jest last year, I thought that the reason Spock doesn't know Michael Burnham is because his memory will be erased of her, because she will teach him how to be a better Vulcan, and she will be so awesome that he will be mentally broken and won't be able to take it. I was saying that in jest, and it turns out that it might be true. Now, it's not the fact that she's so awesome, although the show tries to portray her as that. It will be something to the effect of Michael Burnham was supposed to exist in the timeline, and we're talking about the Star Trek timeline, and didn't, but then the Red Angel went and fixed it. So this is just a possibility. I'm not predicting this, a possibility. So the Red Angel's actually fixing the timeline. So the Star Trek we've been watching was supposed to have Michael Burnham in it. I don't know. That could be one possibility. Or they're going to kill off Michael Burnham or make her disappear, but right now, Star Trek Discovery is in a different timeline than original Trek canon. I believe it's Prime. I think there's a lot of evidence that it's Prime, even though the people who own Star Trek now call it Prime canon, and they say it's the original canon, which that's their right to do. I have head canon, and I don't see it that way, but it doesn't really matter because I don't own Star Trek and never will. And that's the way it is. If you want to call this Star Trek and label it Star Trek, that's fine. It's not Star Trek. They went right back to their old ways of trying to be Game of Thrones in space. Starfleet is always like this. I do not like this Starfleet. This is a very unlikable Starfleet. I'm not saying you have to like this government organization, but the reason I like Star Trek is I like the ideal of it. And maybe the creators of this show think it's just a silly notion. It's such a silly notion to have this semi-utopian society. And because our writing skill is at like a, coloring book level, we need to always have inner soap opera conflict. There's got to be a half brother or a secret or some feelings in a hallway. And that's not Star Trek. Or at least it didn't used to be. I think this is the Star Trek we're getting, whether it be through Discovery or the Picard series, but this is it. And it's very disappointing. And I know there's, I know there's a lot of Star Trek fans who just want to like Star Trek. They just want to enjoy Star Trek. Can you honestly say you definitely enjoy this, or is it just, it's not bad, or it sucks less. Wow. Okay. So let's get to the chat here. Enough of that. So I will get back up here, and yeah, I was on World Class Bullshitters a little while ago, and that was awesome. Those guys are brilliant. I can't wait to join them again. I think a couple of them were tired from, they got a big trip coming up. They're going to Horror Hound. Okay, let's get to the chat. I'm sorry. All right. Yes, Logic Extremists. If you haven't seen that or heard that, I can't even explain it. Doomcock's Matthew Kadish interview messed you up. It did, Bazopoulos. I haven't watched it all. I watched part of it. I have not read all of his articles either. I need to do that because he looked like he did some great work on it. So it's definitely, go check it out. It's on medium.com. Yeah, but I'll check that out. I don't know what you're referring to. I got to watch the interview. I don't watch the show anymore, but I love Gary's show. Lawrence Crimmins. Sorry. Lawrence Crimmins. Thank you so much. A lot of people have told me that. I don't know how many people are watching. Again, right before I started, I checked on Twitter. It's not trending. I mean, Spock's back on TV for the first time in a couple decades. You'd think somebody would be talking about that. I'm not sure. Carl Manvers, why didn't they beam Ariam back to the ship the moment she ejected? Because she would have destroyed Discovery. She was still infected with the Brainiac. That's what I'm going to call it, just Brainiac. The Red Angels from the future, and there's some, I think this has to do with the short trek Calypso, and why the ship is going to have to be sent into 1,000 years in the future. It looks like they're getting a spore drive going again. I think it has something to do with that. Project Debbie Does Dallas. That's what it is. Project Debbie Does Dallas. That's it. The science is so horribly done. You have to have a drink in every science class to ever come up with it. It really is. Spock shows nothing but emotion, even when he's supposed to not show emotion. And sure, Spock used to show emotion when, for dramatic effect, or when he was under the influence of something. And affirmation, we constantly get affirmation. That is kind of a staple for this new writing we're getting. It definitely is. Operation Sky Pebbles. What is up? How's it going? An alternate Mikey Spock is trying to save herself. I'm convinced the Red Angel is Michael Burnham. Absolutely convinced. Thank you for the super chat, Chris Persia, $5. If they couldn't scan the base, how were they able to beam across? And they didn't need to scan to be able to lock on the destination to rematerialize. Yeah, and how come they didn't shoot any of the mines? Like, they didn't even bother to shoot any of the mines. I don't know if they were shielded or not, but they couldn't have the shields up for the mines. They couldn't scan the base, so they send the landing party, but they were able to beam people out of there. Yeah, there's they don't, and Jonathan Frakes directed this episode, so the directing was competent, but the script wasn't as usual. It's written by committee, I guess. I don't know. I know there's a name on the teleplay, but there's just so many continuity problems with this. Neurotic Logic Extremists are an analogy for ISIS, basically. Yes, they are, and it's a bad one. What is it with the Logic Extremists? Do they hate math too? I am a calculus extremist. Oh, Rocky, that was funny. Enterprise firmly established that the timeline is pretty much FUBAR thanks to the temporal Cold War, and maybe that's what they're putting into this. I don't know. Here's the problem with that. I don't think they're. I think that after this season's over, we'll know for sure if there is a non-compete or a 25% different, because you can't go through 2 entire seasons of Star Trek without bringing in something and they change so much, and I guess they can put it under the guise of making it modern, but everything is so damn different. It was jarring last week when they did the Cage preview prior to, and they showed old Pike to new Pike, and it was like, I wouldn't have done that. I mean, it was great to see the Cage, silhouetted animator, $2. Isaiah Morales is playing Deathstroke in Titans. Yes, he is. Is that how you say his name, Messiah? Yes, he is. I don't know if that's great casting, though. Mikey gave birth to Brie Larson. Maybe. Maybe. Thank you for the super chat, silhouetted animator. Your equation was 1 digit off. You must be purged. Daniel DB631. The Red Angel is what changed it and saved Burnham. Yeah, she changed she changed the timeline. I would totally believe in the Spock red matter, red angel theory if I had heard from a couple of sources that is absolutely not what they're doing. STD is almost as painful as Captain Marvel. No, it is as bad. These vulgar portrayals are hell to watch. Burnham is the Red Angel, and there are no tactics or science in any of the writing, none whatsoever. And what do you say beyond this point? They gave this a season 3. It's astonishing, but go ahead, go right ahead, go have your season 3 and 5 people watch it. Ariam's Mark Lazarth says Ariam's death is an unearned pathos. You don't kill a character off the same episode. You first tell everything about them and expect sadness. But you are 100% correct. But for the type of people who really enjoy the show, who are watching the show while they're looking at their cell phones and stuff, they'll go, "Oh my God, the feels, the fifis." Michael is like Kim Jong-un. He doesn't have to poop like us lesser mortals. No, she doesn't. And the argument she has with Spock is just rich. It is. I wish I could show it to you. I really do. Saru mentioned it was a female when he saw it with the supervision. Red Angel. Yes. Did he? John Schmidt? It's definitely a female. It's definitely a female. It's got female hips. They did. Remember when Q got Wesley killed? Then Riker brought him back. Riker sucks. Romater. You guys are funny tonight. This is why I do this. I love you guys. Oh, you complete me. You give me the feels. I figured it out, Gary. If you mix up the letters of the Red Angel, it spells enlarged, which is exactly what happens to your genitals with an STD. Stop it. Andre Susie with the zinger. I gave up watching Star Trek Discovery 2 episodes ago. I couldn't bring myself to see Spockster. Spockster. I like to spell it like, since he's dyslexic, I'll do it in the chat. I like to spell it like this now. This is Spock. So that's how we spell Spock now. The Spockster. Come here, little Spocky. Spockster. Come here, little guy. You just want to rub him on his little moppy head and then have him sing Hey Jude to you. We had a naked Laurel Klingork, but Robot Girl dies before she got naked. There is no justice in the world. Carl Manvers, I gotta admit, it'd be interesting. But are you truly naked if you're a machine? The funny thing is, we seen the Klingons? That big change of the Klingons. The Klingons are going to look a lot different. They're going to be and they were in one single episode. Remember number 1, Rebecca Romaine? All the talk. I mean, we had articles written about it. And, we can't wait. She ate a cheeseburger She ate a cheeseburger because of the, pretty women eating the cheeseburger trope, and gave Pike some information. And I would much rather see her. Sergeant Lowe, $4.99. We should protest this cruel. We should protest this cruel and unusual punishment from CBS. Eighth Amendment, right? And the thing is, I pay for this, and so many others do, and people defend this show. Now, I've really got a new perspective on their defense after dealing with Captain Marvel trolls, and you really see how little interest there is in Star Trek Discovery. It is nothing compared to the Captain Marvel Defense League, the CMDL. Red Angel is 100% Burnham. Stamets confirmed. Okay, John Schmidt. I'm going to hold this here because you're right. Stamets confirmed it when he told Spock he was chosen because the Red Angel trusted him to mind meld. That interaction, John, between Spock and Stamets was some of the worst writing in the show because they started talking. They were clearly at a point where, like, we need to give the audience information and we can't think of a scene to put it in. So we're going to have them talking about two different things. Stamets, out of nowhere, while he's working in engineering, goes, who must have a deep knowledge of Vulcans and their relationship. And really, to talk to Spock like this when you've just met him, he's like, well, obviously, the mind melding, what you just said. Yeah. I mean, it was so, I can't even, you have to watch it. I can't. And then Spock goes, well, can I also say that Dr. Calder, I saw him leaving your quarters. Maybe he's not sure how he feels about you rather than how he feels about himself rather than he feels about you. And I'm like, are you guys talking about the same thing? Like, the next part of it is like, this is how you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. Q can fix this. He can't fix it, buddy. Fix it, buddy, please. He's not listening to me right now. We had an argument earlier. He's not talking to me. Has the Orville been renewed yet? Rocky, the rumor from my 35th subscriber came on my live stream yesterday. He's a bit in the know. I trust him. He said it will be renewed at the end of the season, and there is an option for a 4th and 5th season. Now, this is a rumor, and he heard it through somebody else. So please, don't set that in stone. But there's some evidence out there that they're doing they're doing a comic book. Why would they do a comic book on a show that's getting canceled? They wouldn't. They clearly would not. And there looks like there's going to be a toy line, and there's already been, they're going to have Orville Hero Clicks. Again, why would you sign a licensing deal for a show that was going to get canceled? You wouldn't, because Fox has to be in on that. Captain Spire, I found the Spock in STD. It looks like the Vulcan character named Zahn from Phase 2. Ironic how they also took the concept 1701 ship designed for Discovery. Yes. Well, this show likes to borrow things, doesn't it? It certainly likes to, in my opinion, steal from, our friend Anas Abdeen, who is a incredibly smart and brave and handsome individual who created the game Tardigrades in 2014, and he logged it online. There's tons of evidence of it, and he created a big blue tardigrade that travels instantaneously in time and space. And Star Trek Discovery has one of those too. But according to CBS, that's as common in science fiction as a gunfight is in Western. By the way, CBS, thanks to Rekieta Law for bringing up tardigrades. I'm very happy he talked about it. I gave him a super chat, but I wasn't able to stay in that stream. But good job, mate. And also, he explained better than I could. He read the file because he's an actual lawyer. And it turns out CBS, Star Trek Discovery is under Discovery, and they are dragging their feet. What they are supposed to do is give Anas a little access to people's Steam accounts while they were at work. Although, I mean, I think they could have just Googled it. But CBS seems to be dragging their feet. I wonder why. Curious thing. It's a curious thing. They stole the plot line from this season from Terminator, since the AI sent the probe from the future and had it use a cyborg girl to create it at Section 31. Yeah, that another thing they stole. And it's funny, is Terminator stolen from Harlan Ellison. So there you go. It's a circle of life in Hollywood. Robert Smith retracted his message. It was probably the lyrics to his latest song. Zardoz. Yes, of course. Every sci-fi space opera has a tardigrade. Duh, Zardoz. Even Zardoz had one, I'm sure. No, I don't remember it. Well, maybe that's what Sean Connery was packing under his loincloth, a tardigrade. STD does suck. Hockey Day says STD sucks. Yes. STD stole an actual LGBT developer to virtue signal on national TV. Yes. Terminal Insanity. Good name, by the way. Come with me if you want to be cured of your STD, says Captain Spire. Yes. That sounds kind of like, what are you hitting on me right now? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. There is a subpoena to Steam from Anas for the access info. 19th is the deadline for CBS Demonic Bioman. Thank you, my friend. Good job. That is a patron, a friend of the channel, a true nerdrotic. Very demonic, too. I'm really trying to forget that movie, man. Bring back Quantum Leap. It's time to bring Dr. Sam Beckett home. Yeah. Lord Frieza says STDs do suck. Mike Brown, my cat's a tardigrade. Yes. The Price is Right review. Kapla, my friend. Kapla. Kapla. All right. We're going to get back up here, see what I missed. Mary, are you here? I just want to say hi if you are. Hi, Mary Ashmead and your wrench. Thank you, Mark Lazarth and your wrench. Chris Persia and your wrench. Yeah. It was okay, so grade the episode. Star Trek Discovery 1 through 10, I would give it a 5. Now, a normal show, it's like a 3. It had the effects are good, and when the camera's sitting still, but honestly, if you look at the effects, they're not that great. The makeup effects on Irium were very good. I liked Robot Girl, so they killed the one character I truly liked. I barely knew anything about her, but and the background they gave would have been really interesting over the course of a season. But let's face it, this one's not lasting over the course of another season. As it's been reported, season 8 will be shortened episodes, or at least a shortened season, probably shot in a closet. We'll see. Don't really care. It turns out maybe Pike's back, though. I'm not sure. So, yeah, we got some casting from the Picard series, and then we are also, God, what is there? There was some other news. Hang on a second. I think I had some other news. I got to go look at my source real quick. I don't know if he's watching. Oh, he's not watching, believe. Oh, look, there's a fun comment from somebody calling me a name. Great. Okay. So the Picard series will not be airing on Netflix, apparently. It's going to be on regular TV because Netflix won't have it. I'm not 100% sure. Netflix is flipped. I don't know if I can say any of this. There is a lot of drama, and it turns out Netflix is not happy. This is according to sources. File it under rumor. There is a meeting. The only reason they rush Picard is to get it into production. If word comes, they have to cancel. Oh, wow. CBS done. They lost all respect to their peers. Shareholders don't believe in the lies anymore. Netflix has flipped. They now are saying they're going to do everything it can to see Kurtzman and company and STD flop and burn. Interesting. Again, this is a source. That is a rumor. That's all that is. It's just a conversation between me and a person somewhere on planet Earth. And I'll leave it there. There's a lot of drama. I don't know you can tell things are rushed. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence that has backed up a lot of what Midnight's Edge has said. I think the more these episodes air, the more they're vindicated. So if people just don't want to believe them, that's fine. If you want to just enjoy this show, no judgment on you whatsoever for enjoying the show. This is not a personal attack. I just don't like it. So maybe this isn't the best place for you. Coming in here and trying to defend it or troll me, I mean, go ahead, waste of time. I'm like, oh man, that guy trolled me. Star Trek Discovery is good. Yeah, okay, right. The Bizopolis, Love, Death plus Robots, R-rated Netflix, 18 stories, animated CGI, live action, and mixes of all. Interested? Yeah, actually, Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah, totally. You had me at Love, Death, and Robots, and R-rated. I wouldn't blame Netflix. No, I wouldn't blame them either. I think, yeah, I don't think they're happy they're involved in this lawsuit, but I doubt that's got anything to do with it. I mean, they deal with these lawsuits all the time, to be honest with you. But I'm rooting like hell for an us. It's going to be an uphill battle. The way the laws are set up are definitely favor the entertainment companies because I'm sure they had something to do with the writing and rewriting of these laws because, well, they have all the money and power. So they will write the laws to benefit them the best. That is why it is really important. I'm going to sound like a dad here. Protect your material. Protect it. There are ways to protect it though without like paying the gazillion dollars for the trademark. You can mail it to yourself. If you work under the title or name for a long time and make money, it's like a common law trademark. There's a ton of ways. I plan to have an attorney, an intellectual property attorney on this show. A good one, a damn good one. We're trying to work it out. I don't enjoy the show, but I do enjoy certain characters in it. Sadly, one less now. Carl Manvers, yeah. I mean, like, I like Anson Mount as Pike. I hate how he's written. I hate how they have to constantly show a woman being in power over him and in the worst ways. And very, like, Admiral Cornhole is like the worst character on the show. And I'm not kidding. She's worse than Michael Burnham. She is dumb as a bag of hammers. And they have her in charge and she treats everybody like crap. She's a terrible, terrible character. But like I said before, and it'll be very easy to point out, they always have to show a woman in charge. Now, women being in charge is great. But it's almost like they pitched this show as an all-female Star Trek, and then like somebody forced them to put in some men, so they did so resentfully. And it feels like Pike is in here resentfully. I could understand a captain wanting to get advice from his crew and everything. Listen, I'm not a military guy, so correct me if I'm wrong, military people. But I everybody in my family was military, and discipline is key. And when you're out doing maneuvers or something like that, you want to hear from your crew. Hey, ensign, so and so, give me a maneuver. Well, but in the middle of a battle. That's craziness. That is fan fiction. That is Gilmore Girl writing. Thank you for the super chat. Gamer Gam $1.99. Orville's success made STD a pointless failure. It did. It really did. Now, the question has to be asked. How would you feel about Orville if Star Trek Discovery did not exist? There would have been a time I would have told you, I don't know, I'd probably feel differently about it. That has definitely changed with the second season, and especially with the last 3 episodes. Oh my God, the last 3 episodes have been fantastic. An all-female starship will be a good promo. A porno. I'm sure it's been done. It's the future. There's science. It's Starfleet is supposed to be a science organization or science federation. But I didn't know science. I didn't know they did nation building. So I don't know. I think it seems very military to me. But when they go on raids and away missions, they've stopped sending security. Why would you stop doing the red shirt thing? People, I mean, it's not like people go, I hate that red shirt thing is so lame. That sounds like some arrogant ass writer who, like most of them, who thinks they can go in. It's like, that red shirt thing is stupid. I'm not going to do it. I mean, like, does anybody hate that? I don't. Cam Cleat, not a fan of Seth in general, but hats off to him for the Orville. Credit where credit's due. Hey, I was not either. Not a Family Guy fan or anything. Not a fan of any. I liked him in Hellboy 2. Definitely liked him in Hellboy 2. But I'm a fan now. Oh, Zardoz, you're right. Red shirts equal men. You can't have men there, but you can't have red shirt women because you can't kill the women. I'm sure I hear people going, nah, I guarantee you that's the answer. Zardoz, you win the no prize, buddy. The Orville is good without STD. I say that now too. Yeah, Seth was in Hellboy too. I'll show you. I still need an action figure of this character. I'm trying to show a damn picture of it. Well, give me a picture. That's dumb. Oh, hang on. It's Johann Kraus, and I'm trying to find a picture of Johann Kraus, and I can't. Why? It's like, here, I'll just put in Johann Kraus. Johann Kraus. Oh, forget it. Talk amongst yourselves. My computer is, there we go. Well, I'm looking for a picture, and now I keep getting, here, this is better. I don't know how many people saw Hellboy 2. Hellboy 2 is one of my favorite all-time movies. Johann Kraus. He's just voice acting in it, but it was the best part of the movie, I thought. Absolutely loved it. So he's like he's a ghost. He's a ghost in a suit, basically. Oh shit. Part of the BPRD. I don't know what I don't know. I'm a huge Hellboy fan. Thank you for these commentaries about STD. It really makes my day, and you are very entertaining. Hey, I'm glad, especially when I'm Googling for Johann Kraus and failing at it miserably. Keep up the good work, and don't let the haters silence your voice and ours. Magic 3331. Thank you for the kind words, and no way. I think I keep it coming. Like Mrs. Nerdrotic and I read them in the morning in bed, and it's funny when I get called an incel right next to my wife in bed. It's hilarious. I was thinking about videoing some of those of us reading our I think that's a good idea. It's kind of like reading horrible tweets about yourself. I think Mrs. Nerdrotic and I will read some of the horrible comments I'm getting. It's pretty funny. Gary, episode 200 of Stargate SJ1 is free on the official YouTube channel. It's got a Farscape reference. You like Farscape. I love Farscape, Destiny Captain, and I will check it out. Yeah, Stargate's going to be later in the year. I'm definitely going to check out. Enough of you. Hey, listen, I believe you guys. And when I have multiple people coming at me going, no, this show's good. You got to watch it. I believe you, and you guys have not steered me wrong so far. So Jared Lores, $2. STD is the worst sci-fi ever. What second? That's a good question, because I like, that's the astonishing thing when people call me a hater. I'm like, I like a lot of crap. I like a lot of stuff. I'm not super hardcore on, I'm not a canon fundamental. I'm not a canon extremist. No, God, what's the second worst science fiction? I'll get back to you on that. There's got to be something. But I was like, Dark Star, don't like that. Plan 9 from Outer Space, no, I like that. I mean, it's terrible, but I like it. Laser Blast, it's awful, but I like it. Somebody might get mad at me for this, but that Annihilation movie, I couldn't get through it. I know everybody likes it. I'm not going to say it was terrible though. It wasn't for me. There's got to be something. Oh, Jared, I'm sorry. I'll think of something. Sometimes you get a live stream brain fart. It's a terrible thing. Then, I'm also old. And on top of that, tons of drugs in the 80s. I mean, mountains of drugs. I should not even be alive. Joel Timborough, $5. I still dig the Orville. It won me with the episode Majority Rule last season and Never Look Back. God, that's such a good episode. I wish the Orville was on Blu-ray. I really do. Thank you, Joel Timborough. Destiny Captain, $4.99. I already read that, but thank you for the super chat. Dennis Alderman for $20. Jesus Marimba. How good would it be if Seth spoofed STD by coming through a wormhole and destroying the Discovery vessel, saying it was time I got rid of that STD finally? I would, I might have some fee-fees of my own if that happens. He has taken, you got to dig. Okay. Actually Doomcock's really good at picking them out. It takes me a couple of viewings, again, drugs, to see that there's almost every episode has a little Star Trek Discovery dig in it. You got to find them though. Sometimes they're subtle, sometimes they're not. Thank you, Dennis, for the very generous super chat. Alpha Dean Lewis, $5. Why not just launch a full torpedo spread to create a corridor for the ship to fly through? STD is like funky boogers. It just keeps sticking around. Yes. That's why, I mean, these people are paid. Okay, I don't know. I don't think the writers are paid millions. They're paid thousands of dollars to write this crap, and your super chats that you pay me for are better in every sense of the word. Here's the deal, Alpha Dean. You know the answer to this. I know the answer to this. Star Trek Discovery is like a show written by Les Moonves' 14-year-old daughter who's really into fan fiction and like Twilight, but she heard Spock was cool. And then they get real Star Trek writers to put in notes on her scripts, but they're not allowed to change most of it. Think of the giant spider story from Kevin Smith. That's the Star Trek writers. The writer's room has some of the same people in it that season 1 had. It's just the people around them keep changing. Hey, maybe by the end of season 3, we'll have a real Star Trek episode. Many of you won't see though, because you're not watching, because it's behind a paywall. And this is what we got to fight back against. Again, I'm not asking for this to be, for Star Trek to be an extreme right-wing show or an extreme left-wing show. I'm asking for a middle of the road, centrist, present every side story with a good morality tale told through allegory. Once in a while, if you want to slip in some agenda, go ahead. That's fine. It doesn't bother us when it's once in a while, but it's all the damn time. And then this new writing, thanks to Harvey Weinstein, that we cannot show any male characters now having any having any power, even if it's perceived or or just subtle or anything. They can't be giving women advice because that would be mansplaining. Where's the bathroom? Down the hall to the left. Don't mansplain me. Okay, lady, pee your pants. That's fine. No one cared that brace-faced girl was suffocating. Okay, thank you, Luker093. I honestly thought they were just going to let her die because they showed her suffocating. Michael Burnham wins the fight and then keeps talking to Pike and doesn't bother to look for her and never does. She ends up being alive, even though they showed her pretty much die. But then I remembered, she's a woman. They won't kill her. But they did kill a woman tonight. But she was a robot. Thank you for the $2.79 Canadian. The Price is Right review, $5. I just want to see Tim Allen do a cameo in Orville and soil STD Galaxy Quest style. Just my tapa idea. I love it. By Grabthar's Hammer. Oh man, Galaxy Quest. That's so good. I feel I might watch that tonight. All right, folks, we're gonna end it there. I've been going long enough. You guys were brilliant tonight. Okay, applaud yourselves. You were really funny. Fan fiction face sat by Tilly, says Master of Puppets. Oh my God, when she's like, I hear you, Tilly. Oh, it's like, oh God. Hashtag tears, science, and friendship. Oh my God, there was so many science and tears. Oh my God. The funniest thing is there's a YouTuber out there who I respect the hell out of, and I still do. Doesn't change my opinion. Everybody, I mean, I'm sure I like stuff that this YouTuber doesn't like, loves the show. It's so funny. It's okay. You can like what you like. It's no big deal. But don't get on me or us for not liking it. Oh, you're so toxic. I mean, it's like, okay, all right, newbie. Welcome to fandom. Like I've said, this is the way it's always been. It's the way it always will be, unless, well, the current people in charge lay waste to it. Manimal, 1983 was lame. Yeah, Manimal's pretty lame. Nightman is pretty lame, but that's more superhero than sci-fi. Doctor Who season 11. Lost in Space with Matt LeBlanc. Oh, okay. Is that worse than this? It was written by Akiva Goldsman. So yes. Yes, Galaxy Quest TV show is in the works, and I can't wait. But it's got, man, without Alan Rickman. Yeah. All right. So what do we got next? I just put up a Captain Marvel video, and then so I'm gonna do the breakdown video or vandalization of Mr. Spock. One of those two. I'm probably gonna do or both. I'll do both, and I'm sure some crazy Captain Marvel news will drop tomorrow, and then I actually do have another Doctor Who video in me, and then we're going to be covering cover American Gods live, but it doesn't stay on the channel, so you have to catch it live. It's going to be at 7 Sunday, Exozone. So it's going to be American Gods, then Exozone, and we'll see from there. If you missed it, I was on the World Class Bullshitters a little earlier today. Go check out that podcast, and definitely subscribe to World Class Bullshitters. They're one of the best channels, one of the best podcasts out there. I've actually been a fan of theirs for quite some time, been a subscriber for quite some time. And don't pay for the show. It's just not worth your money. Battlestar Galactica 1980 is not worse than Star Trek Discovery. It's bad, but it's not worse than Star Trek Discovery. The Dark Shadows remake might be, yeah. But Johnny Depp is innocent. Amber Heard. How is Amber Heard still part of Aquaman after that? Which, I mean, listen, I liked her in it, but, just considering precedent, we have destroyed other people's lives based on rumor and hearsay. And I do believe I saw some photographic evidence, and there's video, and I don't want to get into it right now. But yeah, Johnny Depp is innocent. Would Sam Rockwell do TV? Well, it's Netflix. It's different. Battlestar Galactica 80 is definitely better than Star Trek Discovery. If it was Mass Effect Discovery, it would be that terrible. Still terrible, not that terrible though. I meant the Dark Shadows remake TV show from the 90s. Yeah, that's probably worse. Birth Comics. I won't read that, but that was funny. Everything's funny, folks. Eventually. Okay. You all have a great night. I am actually going to go now. It was so much fun talking to you. I had a great time. Thank you so much, you guys. Yeah, it's so really, I should be thanking you all the time. It should be 2 hours of just me thanking you. We passed 54,000 subscribers, so thank you for that. Please, what's up, Ed Brewer? Long time. Check out Patreon for as little as $1. You get a couple extra nooners and you get early access to video. I actually gave throw a rough cut up of my video today and got a little feedback, and that was cool. And I haven't seen Gentlemen Broncos. So nerdrotic.com, like, share, and subscribe. I really got to go. Thank you so much. And God, the Orville will be back next week. So thank God. And it will take priority. It will be on before STD. Everybody have a good night, and may the small folks sing songs of your greatness.